I guess we can't all be beautiful people. Hello friends, welcome back to ReddX Trace Amounts of Science. Today we're continuing on with the spooky saga, I guess is what we're gonna call it. It's not very spooky, it's rather droll. It's basically OP standing here writing the Neckbeard story to tell everybody that he has a girlfriend or something like that. It's it's a mess. I got so bored with the last two parts, but if you like, the link is in the description or a pinned comment. I think we did make a playlist for this one. Anyway, thanks so much for being here. Gubbinses are here too. We're gonna have some fun today. I hope. We'll try. Yeah, we'll go ahead and get on into this thing. I guess. There's no avoiding it any longer. Beauty and the Weeb, Part 2, Attack of the Clone. That's right, we're ripping off Star Wars now. Due to popular demand? Yeah, right. I bring you the events following that disastrous homecoming. He spelled disastrous terribly. Characters for this story. OP, obviously. Spooky, of course. Shades, unfortunately. And the clone.
It turns out that he's the real me, and I'm the clone.
An almost exact carbon copy of Shades, only female. Yes, how convenient for narrative purposes. So, on with the cringe. Yeah, you have no idea. A few weeks after homecoming, the events of the night were well behind us, and it even seemed like Shades had moved on to some degree. He spent most of his time hanging out with the clone, who, in an almost Twilight Zone-esque way, resembled Shades to the T. Yeah, because they was wearing the same shirt or something like that. This always drives me nuts. It's such a common saying. How can you not know? Such a common saying. They had the same dress style, same mannerisms, even the same glasses, which we assumed he had bought for her. I mean, yeah, bro, if you know the good eyeglasses spot, let's go. Spooky and I were still in choir our sophomore year, and we were excitedly talking about an upcoming musical that the school was putting on. Les Miserables. A very watered-down version of it, but with some of the best songs. If you're gonna do a watered-down version, why even bother? It's not meant. Go do something else. Something more your speed. Seussical? I think OP would fucking love Seussical. So do I, but don't tell nobody though. Spooky was trying to get me to audition for the role of Javert, the main antagonist. Oh, I guess it's Javert. I was all for it. Auditioning and getting the role, much to both of our excitement. Spooky got in with the set design team. She's an insanely good artist. If I could convince her, I'll upload some of her work. Never happened. She doesn't exist. I'm very surprised that we didn't go with, like, her being the, whatever, female lead interest. Or at least, like, the antagonist side hoe or something like that. Like, can we do that? I think we could write that in. Even SJ got involved with the construction aspect, even though he didn't care much for musicals. Oh fuck, we forgot him in the cast list, but it's Slim Jim, everybody. The best friend who is also just a prop for OP's, like, power fantasy thing, what he's doing here. Yeah, Slim Jim just like building things. Anyway, fast forward a couple weeks, the director told us there was a change to the casting. The person who was supposed to play Jean Valjean was expelled for reasons that the director wouldn't say, and that we had to go with the second best auditionee for that role. Guess whose cocky ass swaggered onto the stage, his anime pins shimmering in the light like an edgy disco ball. That's right, Shades. He had been the second best Valjean audition, much to my dismay and amazement. Wow, the protagonist is facing off against the antagonist on stage and in real life. My suspension of disbelief has never been more securely fastened. I completely believe that all of this happened, OP. That's amazing. Sometimes the universe just aligns, you know? What a fascinating turn of events. I can't believe it. Quite literally. My dismayment, if you will. Yeah, dismay and amazement. Oh, That's a cool thing you did when you smashed the words together, you mushmouth idiot. Immediately he launched into a speech, not even letting the director introduce him. Yeah, bro. I'm king shit now. I'm the main antagonist. If you don't know who I am, you better turn around and ask somebody. Who is that guy? That's Jean Valjean. Or Jean Valjean. I don't know how he says it. I like his get up and go, though. He gets up there and says, "Naturally, I should be in this role. I know every song and lime by heart." Lime. I doubt I'll even need the script. Yeah, with all those limes in your mouth. Why can't I hold all these limes? This is crazy. There was a collective eye roll from all parties involved, but there wasn't much that we could really do about it. Yeah, and the director's just standing by, thumb up his butt, letting it happen. I don't really know how to wrestle back control. Okay, fine. As the practice commenced, we were at the confrontation scene where Javert and Valjean perform a duel, but each sing different parts at the same time. If you haven't heard it, look it up because it's pretty amazing when pros do it. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to waste my time with that. This scene in a play or movie that you saw once and you're like, that is so cool. That's the coolest shit I've ever seen, and I need to write it into my Neckbeard fanfic alongside my, girlfriend and best friend who are totally awesome at everything. How are you this much of a Mary Sue? Please answer me. OP says, "Now, I was in no way perfect. My timing was off and I forgot a few words. That's what practice is for. But that doesn't even begin to describe the tragedy of music that was Shades. For someone who knew the entire play by heart, he forgot almost all the words. Instead of letting our voices resonate, he decided he should basically scream his part, and the cherry on top was that his voice was never on the right key. It wasn't bad, but it was just off enough to be annoying. Well, he's the best we got, cowboy, so that's what you're stuck working with, isn't it?" Does it suck? Sure, but most things do. You'll get through it. So after the first grueling scene with Shades, Spooky and I were walking together talking about our various experiences. Was this like a take 5? Everybody come back in 15 minutes? I guess we're not practicing the whole play top to bottom. Maybe the antagonist isn't in this part of the play that they're practicing now, so OP's like, good chance to go talk to my girlfriend for no reason. Or my not girlfriend. Chick I bang sometimes. But she's totally awesome and cool with hot guys. Anyway. This is so painful. So, Spooky and I were walking around talking about our various experiences, and when I told her about Shades, she began snickering. Spooky, do you think he'll wear his top hat on opening night? Dude, I hope so. That would be, what a fucking power play. OP says, it honestly wouldn't surprise me. That guy's fucking crazy. Yeah, like he's super going down the hill in the shopping cart. Whoa, he's crazy. I'm Party Demon, whoa. If you want another saga where I rip on the OP like a whole hell of a lot, you should go watch the Velveeta Beard saga, because yeah, it gets a little off the rails. Much like this, perhaps a little more so. This is just like sort of droll. It hits all the beats, dum-da-dum-da-dum. Velveeta Beard's really fucking off the wall. Anyway, yeah, Shades is totally crazy for wearing a top hat, isn't he? We turned the corner to the main hallway, and there we saw Shades and the clone talking.
And who am I? You're not you. Who are you if I'm not me?
But when they saw us, they stopped and just stared at us. At least, we think they were staring. We couldn't really tell because of the glasses. Yeah, that's why the glasses is the power play. And the top hat. You can't tell which way my hair's going either. You don't fucking know me. We ignored them and walked past, although I did cast a wary glance at Shades to make sure he didn't try anything. Oh yeah, you got this situation locked down, OP. Completely under control. Has he ever tried anything in the past? Did I just blank that out of my memory? Anyway, just as we were almost past them, the clone grabbed my arm, and she said, you know, you got a really shitty voice, right? Like, why are you even in this musical? You're just making my baby look bad.
Oh, mama, I'm home, baby. Yeah.
OP wrenching his arm free. Well, the director didn't seem to have any complaints, so I must not suck that bad. Speaking of which, your baby makes himself look bad. My help isn't necessary. Trust me. Damn, bro, sickest burns out here. Look out. The clone then says, "Don't you ever say that about him. He's way better than you ever will be. And yourself, you pejorative." I don't know if we really need to throw the last bit in. Definitely not for YouTube, that's what I'll say. I was a bit taken aback by her blatant hostility, considering that we had never had any interaction prior. As usual, Spooky decided to interject. Spooky, so did he like make you in a lab, or are you his sister or something? Cause either option is creepy, so take your pick. Honestly, kinda got him on that one. But the writing is still just super poor in all of this. Shades, shut up, you worthless slut. You're just jealous you lost your chance with a man like me. Don't even address me like we're equals. OP says, oh yeah, she was real broken up about it. You should have seen her. She just wouldn't stop crying. And Shade says, I know. And OP says, cause she was laughing so hard. Oh, fuck me. Yeah, got him again. Totally, just stuck him. This is like the most grade school banal tripe. I don't have enough words for what slop this is. Anyway, at this point, without warning, the clone slapped me across the face. I say slap, but it was more like a tap on my cheek. Yeah, because I'm a big, strong man. Don't forget that. I eat, like, granite rocks for breakfast. My cheekbones were chiseled by the gods themselves. Like, really, if you slap me on the cheek, you're probably going to break your own hand. That's just how that works. They are molecularly perfect, just like every part of me. My bones, actually, they're harder than diamonds, but lighter than feathers. I could actually fly, and you didn't know that until I added it into this Neckbeard story. Why not, you know? Fucking just push the whole boat out. See what sticks. If this story happened at all, I hope she walloped you in real life. I hope she cauliflowered your ear. BAM! And Spooky didn't like violence. In fact, she hated it. But I had to hold her back from tearing the clone's throat out, and I have to admit it was pretty terrifying. Even the clone and Shades backed up a little bit. Spooky, you bitch, I'll rip out your lungs to your butt. You don't ever touch my friends. OP is struggling to restrain her and says, hey, it's okay, she's not worth it, Spook. Let her go, whoa. Yeah, we'll hop in grease lightning and leave this town forever, Sandy.
You know that ain't no shit. We'll be getting lots of titty grease lightning.
At this point, God damn it. At this point, Shades and TC booked it, getting as far away from Spooky's wrath as they could. We stood there for a moment, my arms still around her waist, her leaning back into my chest. But yes, still just friends. For now. This is the most obvious thing in the world. Is nobody else bored with this? It's just beat for beat. People just showed up to, like, revel in my pain at how terrible and just predictable the writing is. Anyway, Spooky says, I'm sorry I lost my cool, but she slapped you, man. I can't let that shit slide. And OP kisses the top of her head. I had to throw that part in. At this point, I kissed the top of her head, everyone. It smelled like human secretions and Cheeto dust. OP says, it's not a big deal, but damn, I was afraid that you were gonna kill the bitch. You're pretty scary, you know that? Yeah, don't forget it. I'm crazy and sexy and cool and tough, too. Okay. Sure, you, whatever. I'm so uninvested with all of this. Spooky laughed, turning and kissing me on the cheek. Ooh! We need a fucking sitcom audience, you know? We hugged and laughed about it before leaving for my house. Spooky's parents were out of town. There we go again. and her sister was overseas, and Spooky didn't want to be alone. So yeah, just this entire thing is just prelude for like, yeah. I went over to her house and stuff after. She was all cranked up because I was like, I'm John Valjean, which that's the other guy if anybody's paying attention, which nobody is because the story's dumb. Anyway, OP says, before you say anything, nothing sexual happened. I don't believe you. You can get rid of a word in there. Nothing happened. Nothing happened because these people do not exist. The next few weeks of practice were miserable for me. It seemed like Shades was intentionally screwing up the parts we had together just to annoy me, and even went as far as to sneeze really loud during our confrontation scene. It was on purpose and super forced. Gosh, and that offended you enough to write like a however many part Neckbeard story? I don't know, man. Sometimes you gotta pick your battles. Sometimes you say bless you and let sleeping dogs lie. And one day during practice, I went to take a swig of my water bottle, and moments later was in the bathroom with horrendous diarrhea. Sorry for the grossness. Immediately forgiven. As I was doing my business, I heard someone come into the bathroom and bang on the stall door, and then I heard that unmistakable voice. Shades, how are those laxatives feeling, you douche? They make laxatives that are like completely water soluble? Probably they do. Science is amazing, you know? If you'd like to do your part to support trace amounts of science, you can head on over to my Patreon or click the little join button down there and join up on my YouTube memberships, you know? There's some fun private videos and rants and all for you. For like what, $2 a month? Jesus. And you get a little badge next to your name? I also just added a bunch of new emojis, so you guys should be super excited about that. We got gubbins and dark gubbins and old ReddX and new ReddX. And while Patreon is my preferred method and doesn't offer the emojis and badges and whatnot, it does have like a little private live chat. The employee lounge, we call it. I apologize on some level for the extended plug, but the story wasn't that good anyways, you know? Where we last left our OP, he was having a big wet poop. His laxatives in the water bottle. Shades left the restroom cackling, leaving me pissed and miserable. I reported him, but there was no evidence aside from my word against his. Well, test the water. Can't you drink it all? Just a big thirsty boy, aren't you? Need to keep that skin looking hydrated and perfect. For the next couple days, he'd do things to make me miserable, trying, I think, to instigate a fight and get me thrown out. But I kept my cool, as hard as it was, and I would angrily vent to Spooky after every miserable day. Just don't do it at school. Like, catch him outside his house or something. This is you can fight him if you want to, or not fight so much as just hit once or twice with a ReddX Industries brand lead pipe, because that'll do the job. And that is the prototype that you're seeing on screen right now. Anyway, after one incident where he threw my backpack in the toilet, Spooky had enough. During a practice, she sat in and watched Shades like a hawk, discreetly, keeping tabs on him, and filmed him emptying my backpack and ripping up the contents. And he just didn't notice the girl that he has an extreme crush on filming him. I'm gonna go ahead and press X to doubt once more. My X pressing finger, it's so fucking tired at this point. I want you to know that. You did this to me, OP. You made me like this. I won't be like this. I want to have a nice, happy, fun story where I believe all the bullshit you feed me. But this, it's like presenting me a mud pie and actually fucking expecting to take a bite, you know? I played pretend with you for a one-off, maybe. Way back in the early days of the channel, there was Beard. And I think I did call it fake, but yeah, I didn't go anywhere near as hard as, as I am going currently. This isn't even the max, but you'd have to do something like actually interesting to truly get me riled up. Anyway, yeah, totally filmed him. He did this in a little nook behind the stage, you see, where people didn't usually go. He said that he had to use the restroom. Yeah, I'm just gonna go into the restroom with my backpack, or some other kid's backpack. Again, who cares? With this damning evidence, Shades was suspended for 2 weeks and kicked out of the play. Yay, the entire play's worse for it. My parents also sued his family for damages, including my backpack and textbook, an expensive jacket, which he tore to shreds, and emotional trauma, and assault from the laxatives. Yeah, which we had no proof for. It's gonna get thrown out in court, but might as well just see if it sticks, you know? The clone was also suspended when Shades confessed she helped him perform some of the vandalism. Oh yeah, that's real nice, fucking stool pigeon. I took Spooky out on a date, for lack of a better term, and told her to get whatever she wanted as a thanks for her sleuthing. After the date, which we're still calling a date, apparently, for lack of a better term, we spent a wonderful night together and braced ourselves for whatever craziness life had in store for us the next day. Yeah, I'm sure it's gonna be a fucking whirlwind. That Neckbeard story I made up is so crazy, babe. Yeah, but at least we have each other. And then he kisses his right hand that has a little wig on it. TLDR, Shades and the clone try to make OP's life miserable. Spooky karma bites them in the ass. Oh yeah, bro. You totally got him, dude. That was like the best Neckbeard story. Again, quite rote, droll, predictable. Like, okay, the clone character that was introduced only existed to slap OP. Like, what did the Neckbeard even do in this thing? Sucked at the play, OP got slapped by the legbeard counterpart, and then Spooky freaked out. And then there was the laxatives and the ripping up of the notebook and the toilet backpack. Like, who actually gives a shit? If you were a real man, if you were the man that you truly wanted to be, you'd walk right up and jack him in the jaw. And I bet he wouldn't do that again. Like, even if you lost the fight, you jack him in the jaw and he shrugs it off. And he pounds your perfect, gorgeous cheekbones into a fine powder. He's still not gonna put your backpack in the toilet again. Because nobody likes getting jacked in the jaw. But fuck it, what do I know? I'm gonna get the Gubbinses in here and see what they know.
He writes a play about a play so he can be the king of pretend. I held her waist. I kissed her head. He is rubbing his loneliness on her like a slug leaving a trail of slime. He invents a poop story just so he can say he survived it. He is a swollen gland that thinks it is a heart. Smash him. Gubbins.
I like poop story. It is the poopiest of stories, Gubbins. Believe you me. What do you feel about it, Dark One? Eviscerate him, Dark One. I implore you.
Look and truly see, witnesses. If you strip away the villains he invented, and what remains? A desperate boy performing a one-man show called I Have a Girlfriend. He treats this, Spooky, not as a person, but as a prop to applaud his mediocre existence. We sued for emotional trauma. Lies. He is hallucinating a legal victory because in reality, he is just a background extra in his own life. He is the true Neckbeard. He just shaved the outside. Dark Gubbins.
All that was pretty savage and accurate except for the slogan at the end. It's supposed to be, it's the beard on the inside that counts. You can find it over on Fourth Wall, if that were something that you would like to enjoy for yourself. Personally, I like it quite a lot. The embroidery is just beautiful. Thanks for the plug, Dark Gubbins, but I'm still gonna give the point to Gubbins. Because just calling it a poop story, like, that's all you have to say. Two words that I've never agreed with more, and yet we continue on. So giving the profile a quick scroll, I don't think we're gonna see any more of the clone or Shades. It's like OP just got bored of them. They're like, okay, they don't exist anymore. Wipe them from the whiteboard of your mind, and now, dear listeners, feast upon this. Sick Spooky and the Legbeard. Yeah, she's extra spooky when she's sick. And also it's a Legbeard story. What? It's gonna be super more interesting this time for real. Yeah. Hello, you beautiful people. As the title indicates, my cringy experiences weren't limited to only male neckbeards. Oh no. This is the story of the week. Spooky was out with the flu and I had to face Jabba Beard. Characters for this story, me, OP. Slim Jim, Spooky, Sick Spooky, Jabba Beard, JB, Applejacks, AJ, a friend of Slim Jim's who would hang out with our little group occasionally, Nice Girl, but not in the r/nice girls sense, I think. Pretty sure Slim Jim had a crush on her, winky face. Yeah, but he'd never get to smash like I do. I don't have to crush on chicks at all, dude. I just, like, smash them and I'm like, let's be friends after that, you know? It's clear to me that OP looks down on his friend Slim Jim, is what I'm saying. Anyway, enter the cringening! Yeah, again, here we go. Fucking gauntlet. Junior year of high school was easily the best part for me, hands down. Yeah, upperclassmen, but with no responsibilities toward the future? Fuck yeah! Slim Jim, Spooky, and I were inseparable, as always, but had the added bonus of having 2 study halls together, on top of 2 of the same classes. Oh, fuck yeah, dude, score. Study hall where I'll accomplish nothing and inevitably have to do the work at home. Why are you like this? And needless to say, we'd often get into trouble because we couldn't keep our mouths shut for longer than 2 minutes at a time, and the teachers didn't seem to enjoy our brand of humor. I guess I just really am old man yelling at cloud. It would have been fun as a high school kid. I probably would have fucked off, but yeah, my current brain is just like, we don't do that anymore. There are things that need accomplishing. We'll focus on that first. Anyway, one week, however, Slim Jim and I had to endure a spook-free school week in mid-January due to the flu, and her absence was extremely noticeable. I guarantee you it's probably not going to be noticeable at all. OP says Spooky was like the glue in our little group, and my undisputed favorite person in the world, so Slim Jim and I were pretty bummed. Why is she the glue? You're just a couple of beta orbiters, aren't you? Waiting in line for an imaginary goth girl to come along and ruin your life? Anyway, enter JB and AJ. I can't remember what the fucking thing is. Jabba Beard and Applejacks, okay? Day 3 into Spooky's absence, Slim Jim and I were discussing dropping in on her to brighten her mood a little. Dropping of Gurr favorite comfort food, homemade potato soup. Yum! Really, you couldn't do me any better than this? I mean, thanks a lot for that. By the time Applejack was sitting with us, Slim Jim inviting her to join us and her inviting Jabba Beard. Yeah, you guys tracking all that shit? You got a chart open so you can write this down? It's called an event flow. Cause and effect, you see? Thanks for helping me to truly understand, OP. God, I'm losing my fucking mind, aren't I? And you might think that I'm being harsh referring to her as Jabba Beard, but let me be clear. This is no exaggeration. If it weren't for the fact that I could see her feet, I would have sworn up and down that she just slithered around. She must have weighed 400 pounds easy, her large stomach hanging to her knees almost, and arm flaps to make a flying squirrel jealous. I mean, she might actually turn out to be a more decent person than OP, in which case I'll feel bad laughing at the description. So I will watch and wait, and OP will inevitably trip over his own feet. Oh, but wait, he continues. Her head! It was like someone mounted a pumpkin onto a pile of mashed potatoes, being slightly orange in tone. Spray tan, maybe? Oompa Loompa cave troll? Who knows? There are no cave trolls in Loompaland, stupid. It's only wang doodles and hornswogglers and snozwangers. Jabba Beard had short purple hair, piercings galore, mostly on her ears and nose with a big-ass septum bar. Jabba Beard never shaved, and this isn't a general observation. Oh no! Jabba Beard was adamant and clarified that shaving was a male construct forced on women, and she wasn't gonna conform. And look, if you don't want to shave, okay, more power to you, but I cannot stress the amount that I don't care about it. Yeah, I felt like that this entire story, OP, it's amazing. The thin mustache on her lip and unibrow was pretty distracting though. Her clothes ranged from very stretched leggings and ill-fitting shirts to tent-sized dresses and jackets. So it's not like just a one-off chance meeting if you're describing multiple outfits? I don't know what the fuck's going on here. Who cares? Again, you might think I'm being too mean, but after this story, you'll think I'm not being harsh enough. Trust me. Back to our conversation. Yeah, I was so engaged with that conversation. What was it? Slim Jim and I were talking about going over that night after school. Oh yeah, to bring the stupid soup. Applejack asked if she could come because she wanted to meet Spooky, and JabbaBeard, well, JabbaBeard spent near the entire period staring at me, her gaping mouth sucking air loudly as beads of sweat raced each other down her face. Unsettling. As you can imagine, I was visibly uncomfortable, and after 30 minutes of her staring, I finally snapped. OP, can I, help you with something? Yeah, I don't like being stared at by unattractive girls. If you're a 6 or less, get out of here! My visage is not for the likes of you. I tried to keep my voice level, but upon turning to face her head on, I got a whiff of that hot Jabba breath, and I nearly fell out of my chair. It was so bad. It smelled like a fish died, and all the other fish threw a funeral party inside a sulfur mine and served egg salad afterwards. However, she didn't seem to notice my disgust and said in a very high-pitched voice, "So why isn't a gorgeous hunk of man meat like you not some lucky girl's plaything yet?" Slim Jim was losing his absolute shit after that line, ducking under the table to laugh, and Applejack following suit, because I guess monkey see, monkey do. I, on the other hand, just sat there in a very awkward silence, not quite sure how to process this. OP says, I'm almost scared to ask, but what do you mean by plaything? JabbaBeard then launches into a story about how she prefers submissive males. You might be barking up the right tree. OP does seem the passive sort. This is teenage you. It's gonna be the most fiery, gassed up version of you. But it feels to me like OP just, took a bunch of Prozac. He's like, I don't know, I gotta go sit down somewhere. Do you feel nothing? Anyway, she said submissive males are more fun. Men, in her mind, were only viable intimate partners when they worshipped her and bowed to her every whim. So, not too popular with the fellas then. OP says, now, aside from letting Spooky tie me up every once in a while, I was nowhere near submissive. And if that's your thing, more power to you. But, no. There's no but. I've seen all of this. This is your power fantasy, and Spooky is doing all of the combat for you throughout the entire thing. You are submissive. And that part, it's fine. I don't give a shit one way or the other. We need warriors and poets, you know what I mean? But to not admit that that's what you are when it's so very clear. Are you just in denial? You're waiting to discover some things about yourself? Well, I encourage that sort of exploration. Anyway, OP says, oh, well, no, I'm not into that kind of thing. It's just not my. And then JabbaBeard slams a pudgy fist on the table. Oh, I get it. So you're one of those degenerates who likes to use women like a toy. You just pump and go, is that it? You're disgusting. What are you talking? Didn't you just say plaything? Whatever. OP gets a little angry and says, this is coming from a girl who wants to keep a male version of Slave Leia on her pleasure barge. Bro, all the Star Wars references at the beginning. First story we read, he's like, I'm not a nerd. I don't have a Reddit account. Did making a Reddit account force you to watch all 9 Star Wars movies? Is that what happened? Is that the initiation? Or did you perhaps like it before and you just told us a little white lie? A little fibby fib. I've never been into nerd stuff, guys, but here's all of my Star Wars references. I see through you. Saying that might have been a mistake, though. Yeah, apparently JabbaBeard got the reference. She stood up with some difficulty and spat in my face. A putrid ball of fish funeral saliva landing smack on my cheek. I nearly puked. You should, fight fire with napalm. Jabba, Are you saying I'm like Jabba the Hutt? Is that like a fat joke? You pig? Is that how you treat a lady? And OP says, well, forgive me. I was just under the impression that you were aware that you were fat. Probably the first good line from OP in like 2 hours of this shit. This was mistake numero dos. And Jabba Beard picked up what was left of her drink and dumped it all over my lap, waddling away before the lunch attendant could see. Slim Jim and Applejack were both pretty stunned, and I was pretty damn pissed. Slim Jim, you got such a way with words, bro. I'm stunned that you don't have more friends. OP, yeah, well, I'd rather have no friends than associate with her ever again. Applejack, she's not that bad once you get to know her, you know, and I think she really does like you. Trust me, she doesn't like OP as anywhere near as much as OP likes himself, okay? I stared at her, spit dripping from my cheek, milk soaking into my pants, and the smell of fish still strong in my nostrils. I stared at her just sitting there. Fucking clean yourself up, you mess. OP says, you're kidding me, right? If this is how she treats people she likes, I'm avoiding that bitch like the plague. Yeah, and what if Spooky finds out? Then they're gonna have to have a battle. I went to the restroom to clean myself off. Nothing too eventful happened for the rest of the day. Fast forward to that night. Slim Jim and I are walking towards his truck, only to see Jabba Beard standing there with Applejack, both looking at us nervously. I looked at Slim Jim, who, aside from appearing happy to see AJ, was also a little confused to see Jabba Beard. As we got closer, Jabba Beard stepped forward and said, look, OP, I'm sorry for what I said. I just get really nervous because I have a crush on you, and I didn't think properly. Can we start over? And then OP deals the death blow and he says, a crush on me? Bitch that big would be crushing on everybody. OP says, now, I usually am one for giving second chances, and I would have been happy to give her one until Jabba Beard. Besides, I think you look great in this. And out of her bag, she pulls a studded dog collar and leash. The collar had a little tag on it with one word, my name. Bro, this is pretty fucked up right here. Where did you get those things and what is their return policy? You need to go get your 20 bucks back right now. OP, feeling pretty terrified, says, oh, fuck no. No, I am so good on all of that. You can take that collar and fuck right off, okay? It's the correct answer, honestly. Before waiting for a response, I darted around her using my smaller stature to my advantage. I felt like a damn snow speeder, dodging around an AT-AT, and was easily just as scared. Yeah. Remember Han or whoever the fuck in the cockpit of that snow speeder? He's so scared. I remember it from the movie I watched, but I'm not a nerd. I managed to hurl myself into Slim Jim's truck, with him not far behind, miming call me to AJ, dork, before tearing out of the parking lot. Yeah, Slim Jim was my escape plan, but he's also such a dork. What an idiot for trying to pursue that girl. Why doesn't he just magnetize himself and find women flying towards him like I do? I simply don't understand the logic there. I guess we can't all be beautiful people. Slim Jim, how's it feel being someone's ideal pet? OP says, no word, just drive. I need Spooky. Wait, did you bring the shitty potato soup? We drove to Spooky's house, who upon opening the door and seeing us immediately perked up, hugging us both tightly. Oh, thank you for the hug and the transmissible disease. How kind of you. Spooky, guys, I'm so happy to see you. And I hugged her back, feeling the fear of Jabba Beard melt away. Spooky's dad poked his head around the corner, and seeing it was Slim Jim and I, waved us in. Her dad's not around often. It's odd that he would make this like random appearance. Does it mean something? Does it come into the story later? That would require some amount of forethought, and I don't expect that from OP, but I might be surprised. The usual parent-teen banter occurred before Spooky dragged us up to her room, flopping down onto her bed, me laying beside her, and Slim Jim popping himself into one of those 3 poofy chairs that Spooky had in her room. Wow, she got 3 chairs? Well, this is like a fucking palace, isn't it? And you're laying on the bed while the dad's downstairs? It's fucking bold, man. We all began watching the original Halloween and chatting about the events of the day. When I told her about JavaBeard, Spooky was extremely pissed. Spooky, what a bitch. Nobody puts a collar on you except, well... OP says, don't even think about it. Oh, see? She's gonna do the call. It's okay when she does it? That's funny. God, I hate this story. Spooky says, fine, but seriously, what a creep. If she doesn't leave you alone, tell me, and I'll put the fear of God in her. Yeah, by infecting her with the same influenza. I believed it too. Spooky's 5 feet 3 inches of pure hellfire. After a while, the topic of JavaBeard fell by the wayside, and the three of us moved on to other topics, all the while marathoning horror movies. A few hours into the night, I got a text, and when I checked it, I saw a number I didn't recognize. Gosh, whoever could it be? What are you doing, winky face? OP says, who dis? The answer I got was a very crudely drawn picture of me, nude, color on, with a person's high-heeled foot on my neck. If it was crudely drawn, how do you know it's you? LP just imagines that it's him. He's like, oh, that's definitely me. Deep down. He's still discovering things about himself. I think that's nice. LP just responds, WTF? She says, you like, winky face? OP says, holy fuck. Is this Jabba? Well, look who finally showed up. Just a few steps behind here, ain't we? Rude! He says, how did you get my number? And she says, how big's your schmeat? He says, again, I ask, WTF? Well, gee, considering OP is Mr. Popular and everybody has his phone number, there's fucking like 2 people in the story that could be the leak. It's either Applejack or Slim Jim, alright? Now that mystery is solved, please stop asking about my schmeat. I showed my friends the text, Spooky snatched the phone away, and Slim Jim started looking at me a little sheepishly. Uh-oh. OP says, Slim Jim, what did you do? Slim Jim, well, Applejack asked if she could get your number. OP, no, you fucking didn't. Slim Jim, oh, but I did. OP, damn it, Slim Jim, what'd I tell you about thinking with your dong? Slim Jim, oh yeah, you're one to talk. Are you guys gonna punch each other now or just keep arguing like a bunch of little high school girls? You fucking mean it or you don't? Anyway, Spooky handed me back my phone, sighing heavily. I looked on the screen and saw several more explicit drawings of me and dirty messages. She sent several images too, but I didn't look at them. Just blocked her number and deleted the thread. I laid back, Spooky pulled my head to her lap and teased my hair. Oh yeah, that's relevant to the story. Teased my hair just so. I'm sorry you had to see those crude drawings that you imagined of yourself wearing a dog collar. Slim Jim says, I'm sorry, dude. I really feel like garbage. And OP says, it's alright. I just have to figure out how to get Jabba to leave me alone. Spooky, want me to kill her? OP, I appreciate it, but no. If you went to jail, I'd miss you too much. Ugh, you have fucking diabetes now. This whole stupid crap. Mercifully, we're almost there. Finish line's right fucking there. Spooky says, are you sure you don't want to call her? Because I think you'd look really fantastic. And OP says, I'll throw you out a window. OP, if this continues on for much longer, I'll throw my fucking self out a window. How's that? How's that for a deal, huh? The night wore on, Spooky poking and prodding me playfully, and me doing my best to stay in a good mood. But something told me the JavaBeard was just getting started. Oh my god, what a cliffhanger! What's she gonna do with OP's phone number? Probably text him a bunch more times. The stakes have never been lower. Who gives a single solitary fuck about this? Let me ask you that. How about you, Gubbinses? How did you feel? Do you care about the stakes in this story at all?
He calls her JavaBeard because she is big and has face hair. He uses pig and disgusting, but he is the one swimming in his own hate. She was bad, yes. She did the spit thing and the wet thing. but he writes about her like she is a monster from a swamp. He wants us to hate her body so we don't look at his leaking soul. Gubbins.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, that's a good way to analyze his writing style for sure. We went on for so many paragraphs about what a terrible person she is, and she definitely did do, like, the stalking and the spit thing. I don't know what the wet thing you're talking about is, and I'm not sure that I want to know. But definitely a strong performance. Very perceptive of you, young Gubbins. How do you feel about it, Dark One?
Notice the careful construction of his narrative. He is the hunk, the desired object, the victim of a grotesque admirer. He emphasizes her weight and appearance with malicious glee, stripping her of humanity to justify his revulsion. Yes, her behavior was abhorrent, but his delight in recounting her humiliation reveals his own rot. He is not a hero escaping a villain. He is a bully relishing a target he feels superior to. He is small, cruel, and desperate for validation. Dark Gubbins.
Holy shit, I think I got caught in the crossfire of that one, Dark Gubbins. We need to reel all that back. I gotta give the point to Gubbins because I felt, while I know you're talking about him, I did feel attacked by the thing he said. That's all we do on the channel all day is recount people's humiliation. I lay my rot out here bare for people to pick through, and something feels good about it, but also it's a weird way to get through life. I'll admit that much. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the episode, friends. Check out the Patreon, YouTube memberships, Fourth Wall for the merch, Spotify, iTunes, podcast services. I was gonna say Spodcast, but that's not a thing yet. We've also got an Amazon affiliate link and the link to my Steam game, which I hope will come out next year. We're working hard, tippity-tapping away at the code, you know. You can't rush something this beautiful. And it's going to be beautiful, I'll tell you that. So wishlist it now. Thanks so much. And thanks for watching, of course. I'll see you tomorrow, I hope. And until then, friends, I'd like to remind you that you are loved, you are worthy, you definitely deserve it. And until then, my friends, bye-bye.
何ばか何ばか